What's going on? It's Brian Socha. I got very nervous before I started. I thought my mic was unplugged. Rob got me nervous. It's not. That's just we'll wrap that up there.
Got him.
I was like, ah! Anyway, we're back again. Rob was not here last week. Rob apparently chipped your tooth. I want to get this from you. Let me get this right. You chipped your tooth. That sucks. But you did it chewing gum?
Chewing gum, bro.
How do you do that? What are you, 90?
I know. One would think, man. Piece of tooth came out. You know, I had to go to emergency dental service. $1,000+ later. Yeah, we're good. We're back.
BKFC healthcare plan, right?
Yeah.
All right. I love it. So look at that smile. The pearly whites, they all look all fixed up. I thought you were going to come here with chiclets in your teeth or something this week, but you're here. You're rocking. You look great. We're glad to have you back.
Appreciate it, sir.
DC sat in, did a wonderful job. I have to say, though, we might have had the biggest publicity we've ever had on our show, and you weren't here for it.
What happened? I missed it.
SI Doc, you didn't listen?
No.
Oh, jerk. He's on vacation, getting his teeth drilled. He couldn't be. Zzz. No, SI.com reported. It was pretty cool to see us on there. Dave was on, and we talked about the rumors about Nate Diaz coming here.
I read the comments, man.
And what a good fight it might be with Mike Perry we were talking about, but it got picked up on. And, it ended up getting huge that day. It was one of the biggest things in combat sports that was talked about. So thank you to SI.com for putting that up there from our little show.
Yeah, absolutely,
it's pretty cool.
man.
So a lot of good stuff going on today. Tons of good stuff. We have Ben Rothwell. Big Ben, not the Big Ben the fan. Big Ben, Ben Rothwell. He'll be on. He's had his big fight, Bobo Abana. We're going to talk to him. Excited for that. I mean, there's stuff to uncover with Big Ben. There's stuff to learn about Big Ben that we might not know yet. He's a fun interview. We've spoken off the air a couple times. I like the guy. I like the thing about Big Ben that he's here to fight. He's not only here to fight, I should say more than that. He's not just here to fight. Sorry, I should also say that I'm powered today by Sudafed, coffee, energy drink, and I still don't feel awake.
We going live.
Bro, this. I got a leave in me. I got allergy medication. I got nasal spray. I'm all doped up.
Where'd you get bit by a squirrel?
I had some kind of ragweed or something. It's like 4 times its height in this area. Anyway, so you're gonna have to help me through this because I feel like there's like 2 of you. I'm so like wacky right now.
Well, the longer we talk, there will be like 4 or 5.
I love it. So Ben will be on. We'll talk to Ben. A lot of stuff to talk to with him. And then 12:30, Quentin, the hero. Henry will be coming on, who's facing Lorenzo Hunt for the Cruiserweight title. Coming up October 1st, Louisiana, Monroe, his hometown. That'll be interesting. A lot of stuff to talk to with that. You know, Lorenzo usually chirps a lot. I don't think Lorenzo's been chirping as much this time.
Because he's scared.
I know.
He's scared.
I know you're a Quentin guy. I mean, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
So you can...
Not to ride his coattails or anything, but I called it. When you guys see... All right, go ahead.
No, okay. We'll save that for the interview.
Yeah, I'll keep the hype low.
Let's relax, and then we'll hype it up later because I got off talking about my allergy medication. But Big Ben, what I like about him, and I'll tell him this in the interview, is that he's a fighter that has done a lot in his career, okay? Comes to BKFC, and every time I've seen him, he's wearing the gear. He's proud to be here. Not that other fighters aren't. It's just that you can tell the pride of coming to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. To me, I feel like it reminds him of UFC's early days as a fan when he was watching, even when he broke in. And we've said that too before. It's similar how our trajectory continues to grow, almost the same way they did, getting legalized in new states, getting more accepted by mainstream. And that's happening slowly for us too. So it's exciting to have Ben here. 12:15 for Ben and 12:30 for Quentin Henry, the hero. Before we get to that, a lot of other stuff to talk about today. I mean, we'll talk about BKFC 30 in Monroe. Sorry. Monroe. I talk like a local. BKFC 31 debut in Denver. We're going to talk about that and so much other stuff. But let's examine before we get in with Ben Rothwell here in a couple minutes about BKFC 30. You see the big logo up there. Main event. We just said Monroe, Hunt, Henry. Henry's coming on later. We're going to get his 2 cents. Hunt hasn't been chirping as much. That's an interesting fight because, 7-1, that's what we're looking at with Hunt's record. But then you have 5-1 with Quentin Henry. I mean, it's going to be a fight. I mean, I don't think that Lorenzo's going to walk over Quentin. I don't think Quentin's going to walk over Lorenzo.
He's going to get smoked.
Who's going to get smoked?
He's going to get smoked, man. If you paid attention to Henry's career, Lorenzo, yeah, he's good. He's good. But I think that he needs that pressure to get into the fighters' heads for him to make a difference, and I don't see it. I don't see it for this fight whatsoever.
Why? But is that part of the reasoning in your estimation? We're not seeing that. I mean, you're seeing a little bit of chirping from Lorenzo. We saw it in the beginning. You're not seeing as much now. I know they just went through a big storm. He's training in Puerto Rico, so maybe that's part of the reason why. but I don't think he has been as chirpy this time, for lack of a better term. He's not talking as much.
Well, maybe for the first time in his career, he did his homework. So he did his homework on his opponent to see. Quentin Henry, the past couple of Quentin Henrys, if you will, is a totally different fighter than we've seen in his first 2 to 3 fights. He's extremely calculated now. His jab is just, it's amazing. Yeah. When he gets fired up, he really, he gets into a calculated, storm. Then he circles out, and he's very, very precise now in his striking versus just coming in the earlier days and, throwing caution to the wind.
We saw that a lot in early bare knuckle. You're seeing that it's still there, but you're seeing people start to adapt. As we've talked about for a couple of years now, we're seeing different styles start to progress, and that's kind of exciting. Much like we did in the UFC, we saw different styles come in, and we saw people adapt their game plans. They learned more of the sport, and I do believe Quentin's done that. I see if Lorenzo is going to be ready for it. Lorenzo would probably tell you would, but
listen, Lorenzo Hunt has some extremely great wins underneath of his belt. He's a great fighter. Again, like you, I've not heard anything, so maybe he is questioning, his level at this point versus this fight.
I'll bet you money after he just heard that quote from you, Rob, he's questioning his level. He's probably recorded 3 videos since we started the show, and they're probably going to go out. Here comes, you can see Quentin Henry doing the walk. He was a very popular fighter. I'm glad they put that up there quickly because you can see, I thought they're going to show the crowd. People really love him, and he seems to think Lorenzo's a bit of a bully. We'll get into that more later, too. Let's look at some other stuff on the card that's interesting. Juan Torres, this is lower on the card, facing the Shark. He's very popular, Zach Helmus. Zach Helmus is very popular because you never know what he's going to do. He's intense. I'm a fan of him, too. He got BKFC tattooed in his knuckles.
That guy, man, that guy's legit. You cannot find people like this. It's something you see out of Hollywood, that this is the type of person that loves to fight, is thanking BKFC for the opportunity, best time of his life.
Oh, he's one of the most respectful fighters. Every time he comes in, he likes, oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. But then you see him go out there, he's crazy. He's like a pro wrestler, but he's the real thing. He's the real fighter. So I'm excited to see him fight. Also, fight has some implications. If you go to the app, bkfc.com, grab the app, Juan Torres. He wants this fight. He has to win this fight. And he says, after I win the fight, I'm going to be challenging for the title at some point. That's what I'm here for. I want the title, the heavyweight title of the world. We'll see if that can happen. But he said even before that, what he wants to prove a point in this fight because he said he wants Greg Hardy. He's calling out Greg Hardy.
Really?
Yeah, he said that's a fight that he wants and he thinks he can win. And it's all there. BKFC app.
He's got to get through Calmus first. And Calmus has been busting his ass, dude. He has dropped a ton of weight. He looks great, man. That's going to be an exciting fight.
That'll be I'm excited for that one. Also, I want to spotlight BKFC vets on the card. I mean, these guys have been around for a while. Harris Stevenson and Caleb, the Lionheart Harris.
Rematch, man.
Yeah, man. And this is, if you don't know, Caleb, KO of the year holder. 2 years ago, was it, I believe?
That might be the KO of the century, man. That was
sick.
That was scary.
Sick. So
scary.
I mean, I was looking at the records according to BKFC.com. Harris Stevenson, 4-2, all right? And then Caleb was 4-4. Look at all the fights these guys had. And sometimes when you're watching and you're not seeing, I don't want to say they're not top guys, but you're not seeing guys like Lorenzo constantly in the main event, constantly on the scene. You don't realize how many times some of these guys fight. I mean, that's BKFC vets colliding there.
Yeah,
so
it is.
If you're new to the product, don't look, first of all, we always say don't overlook any fight. They're all great. Prelims on. They're all potential to be amazing, every one of them. But to see 2 BKFC vets and see how they've adapted in Harris Stevenson and Caleb Harris, it's going to be interesting to see 2 of these guys with all the experience they've had in bare knuckle, and now they're fighting each other. Like
it's 14 total fights combined.
It's a lot, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of experience
for a young company too.
Sport. Yeah.
Dude, we're only at BKFC 30 coming up, right? So I mean, that tells you a lot right there. So that's why I want to spotlight that fight because warriors like that need to have some spotlight on them, and you should watch out. That's a social watch out for this fight card or fight.
Does anybody know about Lionheart's hair?
What do you mean, the braids?
Yeah, can you chime in, Evan, a little bit? Like when he cut his hair, he changed.
Like Samson, right? The Bible.
Exactly, the Viking man. He's got to grow it out, dude. That's where the energy is.
That's when he had the braid, like the cornrows almost.
Yeah, dude, he was in. Yeah,
it was like the early McGregor hair. Style when he was killing people. He needs to bring that hair back. I like that version of Caleb.
That's what I mean. Do we know if he's growing it back out or is what's the style looking like?
I'll check it out.
That would steer my bet. Like if he has longer hair, I'm going on. I'm serious, man.
I see what you're saying,
serious,
man.
Dude.
Hey, I get it. You're looking for the old Caleb. That's the one you want. The one that you'd seen, with like you said, the braids and everything like that. Look, I know Caleb took a little time off. I was actually shocked to see him on this card. I didn't think he'd be back yet, but what do I know? But I don't know why he took time off. I can't tell you a reason, but I can tell you this. When he fought in Jackson, Mississippi, which is right by, that might be his hometown, but it's right by his
last
hometown.
fight with Brito, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But what I took from that more than the fight was the amount of people, fans, that were there to see him. He is a god in that town. And he has, and not only that.
Rightfully so, man.
And he does the right thing. Everyone who saw me and I talked to about him had a positive story. And I started saying, wow, I'm going to see if I can find anybody talking negative about Caleb. So I went around and I couldn't. That's how good of a guy he is. He trains these kids. He works hard. He's a good dude. Harris Stevenson, am I talking out of turn here? I think he's a police officer. I think
another great dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. One of the toughest jobs in the world.
Yeah.
One of the most least respected too, unfortunately.
That's not the right way, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for that fight. As all the fights in the card, they're going to be great. BKFC.com. Grab the app. Ben Rothwell coming on in a couple minutes. Big Ben, fresh off the UFC. Now he's here, and a lot to get into with him. But when I look at Rothwell versus O'Bannon, Bobo O'Bannon, the Bible Belt brawler, another great article on the BKFC app. If you don't have it yet, you can get it at BKFC.com. Another good article about Bobo O'Bannon. So Bobo asked for this fight. He begged for the fight in the article, it says. And it's obviously a big moment in Bobo's career. Bobo is probably going to be seen by more eyes than he's ever been seen. That, to me, brings more pressure, but maybe he can compartmentalize. You know what I mean? I know that Ben made some comments when I spoke with him about a week ago about Bobo and how it was going to end. We'll get into that. I believe that Ben is with us ahead of his big fight October 1st in Monroe, Louisiana, available on the BKFC app, bkfc.com. Some good seats, a very few still remaining. If you're in the area, you can go there. Big Ben Rothwell, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. Let's go. Hey, there he is. Hey, Ben.
How's it going, guys?
Yo, put that hand down.
How you doing?
Put that hand down. It's intimidating. I saw the video. No, stop. No, get away, dude. That's like, I told you, every time I talk about you, it's like I shook your hand and they were catcher's mitts, and I can't believe somebody can get hit by them. And I saw on the wonderful piece they put out on our Instagram, Bare Knuckle FC, kind of showing you getting ready, going through some training, and when you held your fist up, I seriously backed away. You have a big fist. But competitor, you're going against Bobo O'Bannon, no joke. I'm sure you know that as well, and he asked for this fight. So, Ben, before we get into it, I mean, was this a smart fight for Bobo to ask for? Do you think?
I don't think any fights against me is a smart fight, But against me, guys like to roll the dice, and, in the past, guys have gotten lucky a few times, but I don't feel he's going to get lucky that night. I'm well prepared, and I'm coming to throw my hands and show him something he's never seen before.
All right, there you go. You're talking about getting lucky. I'm talking about fighting. Now, I don't need to know what's happening in his personal life. I just want to know as far as fighting. Ben picked up on it. You gave me the boom, boom, boom. I think I have a sound effect with that too. Ben, again, it's great to have you on. And, you're talking about all different people challenge you. You've had so many fights in your combat sports career before coming to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And now you're here. It's a different type of fighting. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I followed your career, but I don't know your exact record. Estimate, how many fights in combat sports do you think you've had? You've had a good career.
Yeah, it's over 70 fights with amateur, pro MMA, kickboxing, and boxing. I have over 70 fights.
Wow, over 70 fights. So again, a combat sports vet, but not a BKFC vet yet. I know you've probably had some street fights, and we can talk about that in a couple minutes too. But the thing I look at with you that I think's so interesting is you're coming in here, and you'll say what you believe to be true, and we love that. But you had mentioned to me the other day when we were talking that this is like a proving ground for you. You have a lot of respect for the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship fan, and you know that the hardcore fans, the hardest of the hardcore, they look at it a little differently. We know what you've done in UFC. We know what you've done in your past, but when it comes to Bare Knuckle, that doesn't matter anymore. And you said the fans kind of feel that way, so you're here just to prove yourself. Speak on that, please.
You can just see it. I kind of just don't social media so much the last couple of years. I'm kind of getting more involved now than with you with Bare Knuckle, and kind of getting. I like interacting with the fans. That's a joy for me. So I kind of keep an eye on that. And I see on my posts, with the posts that you guys have made, you can see like the people that have followed me and they believe in me and they know what I can do. They've watched me fight for a lot of years, and you can see the Bare Knuckle fans and Bobo's fans. They don't know me. They don't accept me. They believe that, I have to prove myself. And that's fair, especially the Bare Knuckle fans. this is like their thing, and I'm kind of like the intruder. But I'm very much here to stay, and I'm here to gain them as fans, and I know how to do it, and that's what I'm going to do on October 1st. So it is. I do put that on my, like, I need to come prove myself because I like that. And with Bobo kind of calling me out, I do take it personally. And that also makes me definitely fight harder, makes me fight differently. I can tell you that. I can tell you a couple incidents in the past where guys have called me out or believed they had me, and it didn't go well for them. So that's what I bring to the table on this one. And yeah, October 1st.
Well, yeah, you seem to say like you're kind of going to teach them a lesson when they call you out. That's what I'm gathering from this, like you shouldn't call me out. But you talk about all these bare knuckle fans kind of saying they haven't fully accepted you. But you do have some bare knuckle fighting in your blood, from my estimation. Again, we talked about this the other day, and I just want to bring it out on how much you've talked about this. So apparently your grandfather used to run bare knuckle fights at his bar. Can you tell us about that? I think that's pretty cool. So you kind of come from a long line here.
Yeah, I don't know the whole details as far as like running the fight. I just know that, like, yeah, he would have like out in the guys would get into it, and he would like, we're gonna settle this, and they would make it almost like, I guess when my grandmother told me, it looked like a movie. There would be like a circle of guys, and they'd fight in the parking lot, bare knuckle, and nobody was allowed to intervene. You know, it was like a rigged bare knuckle fight, like, awesome. And they settled it. My grandfather was a boxer, and I heard he had a pretty good win record at that, and sometimes it didn't always get organized, though. That was the thing. Sometimes it just happened right in his own bar. So he would fight his own patrons. It was pretty funny. I guess he had quite the temper. But hearing the stories about them making like a circle out in the parking lot, I'm like, yeah, how much? There you go. That's like a real bare knuckle fight right there. So
yeah, I mean, when Rob and I get into disagreements, we go out back and we have a bare knuckle fight. Usually, we're both winded within 30 seconds. We sit down and have a cheeseburger. I mean, that's what we do. It's a different ball game from what they used to do. We're not fighters like you. We're not apt to fighting as much as you've been. I know your whole life has been about fighting. I know from before the UFC. Growing up, you're a big guy. You probably stood out. Other kids testing you as you got older. You're a big guy. You're at a bar. People might try to test you. They have a couple too many drinks. They're out of their minds. They might try to do that. Speak on growing up. Did you have a lot of fist fights growing up? Were you picked on? I mean, you had to stand out. You've always been this big, right?
So I had spinal meningitis at 6 years old, and I was like very athletic. I was in great shape. Everything was going good. And then I had spinal meningitis, and it all but killed me. And I was a miracle. I was like a small percentage of kids that survived that year of spinal meningitis. The doctors, hearing the stories and stuff is, as I said, every day that I get to be alive, I just can only be thankful for everything that I have, because that could have been it right there. But when I came out of that, I had lost almost all my body weight, all body fat, because my body was overheating during the whole thing with it. And so they put me on this nutrition plan, and grandma got involved, and grandma was scared to death. She's going to lose her baby. So she was kind of feeding me everything. And yeah, I was a fat kid by third grade. And yeah, when you're fat in grade school, you get made fun of. And then I was also one of the bigger kids in class. So I kind of just took it like a pincushion for a few years. And then there was a time, like somewhere around 5th, 6th grade, you get sick of it and start fighting back. And then I had like a chip on my shoulder, and it was like going into high school, I lost a bunch of weight and I got in really great shape, and like to the point where people didn't recognize me, and I started to feel good about myself. And as soon as I got to high school, that all took a turn, because then every upperclassman, I was the biggest freshman. All the upperclassmen came after me, man. They were making fun of me, trying to book me. And it was almost like prison, from what I understand about prison. Luckily, I've never been, but talking to my friends of the past, telling me stories like, yeah, you got to kind of like fight to prove yourself. And that's what it felt like. And by sophomore year, I'd already been in several fights, to the point where I had like fought enough. Nobody wanted to mess with me anymore. And then by my junior year, I had started fighting MMA, and I was fighting men then. I was fighting 28, 30-year-old men at 17 years old.
Wow. That's double wow. We were like, what were you doing at 17? We were, I don't know,
playing video games in an arcade, man.
I was trying to get a girl to talk to me. I'm still trying to do that. I'm not really. I'm married. Wait, that was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. So that's not true at all. That was meant to be a joke. So now you talk about being a bigger guy growing up. You recovered from spinal meningitis, which that's amazing in itself.
Yeah, God bless you, man.
And look at you. You're an elite athlete as well. But your weight, you're a big guy. These are 5 2-minute rounds. These is constant action, constant movement for the most part. How was your cardio as a big guy? You're one of the biggest guys we have. I mean, how are you preparing for the constant movement and motion being a bigger guy?
I'm excited to show, like, me. I tell you, I'll fight for an hour. It's like I might not last 1 minute. It doesn't matter. It's words. We know what I can do, and this is what I do have. I fought 25-minute fights before in where I was at before, and it ends up with 1 minute rest. That's 29 minutes I fought before, and that's on paper, that's on record, that's on a video. I did it, I proved it. So now we cut this down to 10 minutes with 1 minute rest. We're talking 14 minutes total. That's actually less than a 3-round fight, what I was doing before. So yes, I'm very excited.
I could tell, man.
I have a lot to bring to the table for 5 rounds, and I truly believe my fights aren't going to go 5 rounds at all in this.
Well, I can see the excitement. I can see your fist. I can see the excitement. I was talking about this earlier to Rob. I can see it when you came to the events. You always are wearing your bare knuckle fighting championship stuff. You're proud to be a part of this. And you talked about where you're at before. You didn't mention it by name. I will. UFC. I mean, you were there, big star there. And that leads me to my next question. From what I can see, you asked for your release from the UFC. You said, I want to get out of here. I'm ready to go. And to which they granted. Now, was that a ploy? Did you know that? Did you have your eyes, or did your management have your eyes shifted towards bare knuckle fighting championship while you were in UFC? Were you paying attention, saying, I want to go there. I think UFC's done for me now. I want to go over to BKFC. Was that kind of in your mind before as you asked for the release?
So we had talked. I wasn't like eager to leave. I had spent 13 years there. I had a good place, and they had a fight set for me. But I'm like, this is the last fight on the deal, kind of what's happening. I go out, I knock them out, everything looks great. And they were still like, and some bigger names that just got released as well. And I'm like, I talked to my management, and I'm just like, man, we're running out of time. And I'm going to do this fight, and then we're going to have more time wasted. And they're like, well, like, if this is a move you want to make, man, we think there's some opportunities out there. And I'm like, let's do it, because I'm kind of excited. I know that they have really good connections, and kind of took a bet on me, and it paid off. We had named several organizations. They talked to them, but Dave Feldman and Bare Knuckle they wanted me, and it made me excited. And I'm very much excited to be here, because my style is meant for this, and I believe it. And I can't wait to show it.
No, I agree. Your style is meant for this, and you be knocking people out. That's your goal here. So the thing that you're not as excited about, and I know from talking to you, and we talked about it last week on the show, is that now you cannot fight barefoot anymore. You have to wear shoes, and I have to bring this up.
Can we make an exception, man?
I'd love to see him fight barefoot. Are we allowed to do that? I don't even know. I'd love to see him fight barefoot.
Who's going to stop him?
Good point.
Yeah, Nate. I asked Nate not to name drop.
That's fine.
He's the one that calls these types of things. And he's like, oh, the canvas. And I wanted to be like Nate. I was in that. I was in the circle. I felt the canvas. It's exactly the same what I've been doing. I've been on it before.
Come on, Nate.
Come on, Nate.
My feet are used to it. I've been fighting barefoot for almost 23 years. But good news. Shout out to Wilcock. We tracked down some awesome shoes.
Really?
I think I'm going to be good.
So tell us a little bit. So tell us a little bit about that. What was the issue with the size of your feet, or what was the issue getting shoes to fit?
The width. So we could get 15, 16 lengths, but my feet, are wider. So I wear normal tennis shoes. I wear 15 quad wide,
wow.
Double wide, or even a bit tight. So yeah, it makes a struggle. And all wrestling and boxing shoes are super narrow.
Yeah,
it's been a real pain in the ass.
I feel like Rob. I don't mean to put you on Main Street.
Yeah, man.
Rob, you tend to have a thing with feet. Were you going to ask him to see his feet next?
No. He's like, literally, he's
going to show us. I was like, oh my God.
No, unfortunately, Mal, if I was coming out to this fight, I'd love to do a comparison because his foot is literally double the size of mine. I got small feet. I'm a small guy.
His foot's like the size of our bodies.
But, that's insane. The biggest BKFC fighter signed in history. All around.
Yeah, in every way. Fists, feet, everything. So now that we've addressed the shoe problem, let's address something else that comes with wearing shoes. And this is something that I think is interesting. I thought about it right away when we were talking when you were in Hollywood, Florida, and you told me you couldn't find shoes then. I thought, man, when this guy finds shoes, it's got to be an adjustment. Has it been an adjustment? I mean, do you feel like they grip too much? Do you feel like your feet feel heavy? What's the adjustment like, and are you okay with the shoes?
So the couple of shoes that I managed to finally squeeze on, I'll name drop. It was Nike. It was one of them that I finally was able to get on. And I was worried, man. I'm like, dude, this is like an extra pound on each of my feet. So I just I'm already big and people don't think I move, but it's like, you'll see my style when I'm loose. And I think if you look at some of my past fights, I've done some crazy stuff. When I want to, I can move very well. And I'm really excited to bring that. But the shoes were kind of making me, I felt like I was dragging more. But these shoes that we found are light. They're like half the weight. Good. And they feel good. And they're really light and it's going good. And the positive is I'm already punching extremely hard. But man, you can dig in, there's no slip. Yeah. So it just makes the punches even better, strong. I mean, that's why boxers wear shoes. Of course. You can just dig in and put, that power in.
So to end this segment of Ben Rothwell's feet, I have one more question. This is serious. It's going to sound funny, but I'm just thinking. In all those years fighting barefoot, you said, 23 years? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right. Athlete's foot all the time?
No.
Really?
So I'm going to also drop here. So in the past, I've been pretty, not to be whatever, but wherever I've gone, whether it's at Militiches or wherever, I was always a crazy guy about getting the mop bucket out and keeping everything clean. I was always yelling at guys about stinky gloves. I was always getting everybody to wipe down Tide pads. It must be from my parents and being in a restaurant my whole life and keeping things clean and organized. And a lot of gyms aren't done that way. Okay. And I'm proud to say that everybody that walks into my gym now is like, oh my God, it smells so clean. It's fresh. We wipe down the pads every time we use them. We clean the mats nightly, all the time. So during COVID, it was after every class, which was crazy. I don't know anybody does that. And with my gloves, my equipment, I have dryers. I'm just want to make sure it's done right. Just to me, it's common sense. Keep this stuff clean. You're sweating profusely in it, and I sweat a lot. And you just throw the stuff in a gym bag and let it rot and get moldy. I'm like, that's crazy to me. Yeah. So I've always really been big on that kind of thing. And on top of that, when I started my own gym, defense soap guy, Knuckle, I came to him. I'm like, dude, I want a way to clean my feet before people go onto the mats. I go, people go into the bathroom. Yeah. Guy works out for 45 minutes. He's all tired. He pees all over the floor, steps in it, walks out onto the mat. I've watched this shit for years. And it drove me nuts. I'm like, guy, we got to stop this. We made these foot baths. And I've probably been, defense soap. He says he's starting to sell them everywhere now.
That's awesome.
But I've had foot baths since I opened the gym, 10 years. I keep feet clean.
Well, we're glad. I'll tell you what, man, if you ever shave your beard and get a hoop earring, you could have like a Mr. Clean endorsement. You could be like the new Mr. Clean on TV. I mean, that's Ben Rothwell for you. You have the big hoops and you hang out with the housewives all day, So, Ben, we appreciate you coming on. I mean, Bobo O'Bannon, we'd like to find out. I mean, the guy, again, a veteran. He said 3 knockouts in BKFC. All 3 wins were come by knockout. But you bring something different to the table, as you're saying. I don't know if you're a guy that makes predictions, but where are you at with that as far as predictions and keys to victory? How do you defeat Bobo? Just kind of stay true to your style? How do you talk about that?
So they're kind of watching. They just focus on nights that I had off, and I know exactly what I'm wrong. It's when I'm kind of tentative or not aggressive, and if you hear some of the fans and they're 100% right, I don't fight well. When I'm aggressive or I'm using my style, I'm imposing my will, I win my fights. And that's what has to happen. I'm going to impose my will. He wants to come forward, he's going to hit a wall. And he wants to move around, I'm going to show him some movement he hasn't seen before. And the thing is I touch you, you can't let that happen. And it's going to be really hard for that not to happen. And every time I touch you, it's going to be just devastating on every single guy that I fight. My entire team knows it. We believe it. And on top of that, I bring some things from my realm that aren't so boxing, is that clinch. There's a lot of things here that really work well for me. Can't wait to show it.
Do you have to, as far as your training, now you're just focusing on throwing hands. You have to worry about anything else, the wrestling, anything, just throwing hands. Has that been a better camp for you? Do you enjoy that more because of your power and everything?
Honestly, absolutely. At my age, let me tell you, wrestling and jiu-jitsu, I love jiu-jitsu, but it is really hard on the body at my size. After doing it for an hour, the next day, I don't know, can't explain it. My body feels just broken, hurt. Now I box for an hour straight, and the next day it's like I did a cardio session. I don't feel anything. So we're just able, I feel like the output is higher, a lot more training, and it's enjoyable. I mean, I'm getting, if you look at my record, I have almost 30 knockouts.
Yeah.
I'm a striker. So this really works well for me.
This is your lane. That's why you're excited to be here. That's why we're excited to have you. Big Ben Rothwell, October 1st. He's making his pec dance there in case you're missing. I see the pecs jumping. You're excited. I can tell. I'm on eye level with it. I had to see it.
It's like Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
We're excited. October 1st, you're facing Bobo Bannon again. Bobo has been here. He's tried. He's tested. I would say this is the biggest fight of Bobo's career. I think Bobo said that as well because he asked for it. He said that he has to win this fight, and that's what's going to get him off the canvas if he gets knocked down, his will to get up. But my thing is, that's respect to you by Bobo saying that. He's quoted and saying that he will himself to get up. He needs to win this fight. But that shows you that he's already in his mind saying, in my estimation, that he is going to get knocked down. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Whatever, good for him. I'm going to take this choice of getting back up away from him. That's my job. He to take that choice away.
All right, there, Ben Rothwell, Big Ben. And when Big Ben speaks, people listen. We're excited to have him here. Ben, we know you've been preparing hard. Great piece we're going to be putting up, if it's not up yet, on the app, spotlighting you. Rob, do you have anything for Big Ben before we go? Because
nothing more, man. Just a great time speaking with you. Truly a pleasure. Thank you very much, Ben. Looking forward to your debut.
And he wants
I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. The more I'm getting to hang out with you guys, get to know you guys, the more I'm loving it, man. So I can't wait.
Awesome.
Look at that, a ringing endorsement from Ben Rothwell. We appreciate that. Thank you for showing us your fists and your feet. Fists and feet today with Ben Rothwell.
Thanks,
hey,
Ben.
thanks, brother. Good talking. And the biceps and the pecs were dancing. He put on a show. All right, we're looking forward to seeing you fight, man. Can't wait. You're made for BKFC. Welcome to the show. Thank you, brother. All right, there he goes, Big Ben Rothwell. When I say welcome to the show, I don't mean our show. I mean the show, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, because everything you've seen, if you've never watched Bare Knuckle,
dude, man,
he's huge. But everything that you see when you watch Bare Knuckle, when I say the show, it's a different type of show than a UFC. And we're going to see if Ben, I think he's got a good chance coming here. Again, I think BKFC was made for him.
What's your betting odds?
I don't know how to do odds. I don't bet. I'd be broke if I did. But I'll tell you this. Ben, that's why I asked that question. Ben he's a big dude. And I do worry about cardio, but what do I know? He's probably training. He's right, UFC. But UFC is different where he came from. It's hard. It's just, is it harder? I don't know. But I feel like that quick pace, 5 to boom, boom, boom. UFC, you have longer, but you kind of...
Well, I'm going to tell you why I think this is a very interesting fight. I think some people will say this is a shutout. It's Ben or nothing.
Is that what you think?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm on the fence. This is literally 50-50 to me because what Ben told me is the same thing of what I seen in Bobo. When Bobo's found success, ultra aggressive, comes out firing. Of course, he's gotten knocked down before. He's come back and he's won.
Bobo's got heart.
But he knows he has to fire first. He's got to inflict his will. That's what Ben's going to do. Bobo has the experience. There's nothing
like bare knuckle experience.
Exactly, man. Listen, you can be in a street fight, you can be in a boxing match, you can be in MMA. There's nothing like BKFC. You have to be there to truly say, okay, this is what it's really
and
like.
We've seen that time and time again. That's not just Rob and Brian making comments. We've seen it with fighters.
No, because we're experts.
Well, far from. But I mean, just as far as opinionated on watching the shows, we watch everything, and our opinions, I mean, I think that's a well-founded opinion. If you're a bare knuckle fighter, we've seen it happen before. We've seen, not that Ben's kind of dismissing it. He gets it. He understands he has to prove himself. He said that. I respect that about Ben. He's not in here talking too much shit. He's got to prove himself first. He told me then the fun begins, as we said the other day to me. But I respect the fact that he's doing that. a lot of people wouldn't be able to come and just walk in and do bare knuckle, even if you're an elite fighter. We've seen it time and time again. And you're just seeing Bobo on screen there. I mean, Bobo, you see what this guy does. You see how long he's been here. Again, 3 wins, 3 knockouts. Bobo has heart, he's got will, and he's a BKFC.
He's got
OG.
knockout power,
Yeah,
man.
Man, he's tough.
Yeah, if he's going the distance for his wins, I would say, yeah, he probably doesn't hold a candle to this, man. But I really think this is going to be more competitive and probably one of the sleeper fights of the card.
That's going to be a great fight. So look at it like this, too. Every fight, we always say, obviously, is a must-win. Mm-hmm. You want to win every fight. But in this circumstance, you have a guy in Bobo O'Bannon who's been here for a long time, the Bible Belt Brawler, great name, love his socks, too. But he's been here for a while. So he's done bare knuckle. And we said this is the biggest fight of his career. As we see, we can see what's going on up here on the screen. Bobo, he has to win this. This is a must-win for him to catapult him further in the rankings, further in viral. If he beats him, it's going to be talked about huge. Then on the other side of things, Big Ben is also in a must-win.
Oh, he's
big time statement.
There's more pressure in Big Ben than there is in Bobo. If Bobo wins, his stock is like, it's through the roof, man. You're buying, brother. You're buying now. To the moon it goes.
But both of these guys have totally different reasons for wanting to win. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's interesting to me when you look at the fight from a distance. Where Ben, he's told me he wants to prove himself to BKFC. He said it here. Dave Feldman, he's mentioned Dave Feldman numerous times. He goes, I just want to prove myself to Dave and show that he made the right investment. And Bobo seems like, Ben seems like a guy that's very important to. So 2 different mentalities on why they want to win. But it's interesting to see these 2 clash. And I got to tell you, when I saw Bobo, thank you for asking for this fight. Because when I saw this fight, I'm like, here we go.
Man, this is a great matchup.
October 1st, man, it's coming up.
Big shout out to Nate Shook for making him wear shoes.
Yeah, Boo. He said he liked it, though. He can grip more, so that's a good thing. And we're going to see more punching power out of Ben Rothwell. I mean, you saw those hands.
I know, man.
I couldn't believe he put his foot up for us, too.
Brave.
I was only kidding. He threw his foot up there for us. So we have Quentin Henry. He was supposed to come on around 12:30. I guess he'll be on soon. Who knows? We'll see. Find out what's going on with him. He's the main event on that card.
12:45.
12:45. Oh, did I look at the wrong time?
Yeah, 2 minutes early, homie.
Sorry, Quentin. I'll apologize when you get on.
Nah.
I'm telling him. I'll tell him.
If you're listening, Quentin,
I had 12:30.
You better drill him as soon as we get live.
Wait a minute. Let's get to the bottom of this. Wait a minute as we continue the show here. I just want to prove that I'm not wrong. I'm probably going to prove. No, let's ignore it. I'm just going to ignore it. Hold on.
Oh, he's going to be wrong.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. Anyway, let's move on with the show. So we have Quentin Henry coming on in a couple minutes around 12:45. Thank you for the chalk for telling me that. I appreciate you guys and Rob being on the ball. I'm looking forward to talking to him. He'll be main eventing that show. Cruiserweight gold on the line against Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt. Now, we've talked about that show. We had a couple minutes till we get Quentin on here. But, I mean, that fight. We're going to roll into the interview talking about that fight right now. Where are you at? Well, I know where you're at, but I feel like I need to talk to you a little more about that fight. I don't.
Sure.
Now, Rob, let's be honest. You and me, forget about everyone watching.
Yeah.
This isn't for the show. This isn't just for show to make it interesting. You really, truly feel that way, that Quentin will win this fight.
So, if I was put on the spot and I had to bet.
But we don't bet.
That's
important to say.
Because I'm terrible at it.
I would lose all my money.
Yeah. All I play is roulette anyway. But
you always got a chance at that.
I would probably lean towards Quentin Henry. The Quentin Henry that I've seen the 2 previous fights. Very crisp. Mm-hmm. Now, Lorenzo Hunt also, though, he is very elusive. Right? So he's very, very elusive. Yep. I think that, all right, so Lorenzo Hunt, extremely heavy hands, great power, but he's always going for the haymaker knockout.
He does do that.
So
yes.
Quentin Henry is more precise. He's more dialed in. But you could get the Quentin Henry that just comes explosive and comes swinging for the fences. I think that's the Lorenzo Hunt that's what Lorenzo Hunt would like to see. That's my expert, opinion based off of the fights I've seen them, the success that they've, both had. But one of the standouts was when Lorenzo Hunt got pushed to the limit, his 5th round, in his previous fight. I was like, wow, it looks great. You know what I mean? When he fought,
5th round fight?
Yeah.
That wasn't recent. Yeah.
No. It was,
What are you talking about? His only
who did he
loss?
hop in the ring with?
Hector?
Hector Lombard. When he went the 5th round,
Jesus,
he really
how
got
you forget that? Oh, Jesus.
I drew a blank.
Yeah, I do that too.
He really got pushed, and he really showed up, though. So the 5th round, he turned it on. He took some damage, but he kept moving forward. So I was really impressed with that.
Well, let's find out. That's your view, and then we can bring that into the interview a little bit. In the virtual green room, live in Satellite 5, we're so happy to have him. Quentin, the hero Henry. Look at that beautiful view. How you doing, Quentin?
Pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Just got done with the little cardio work.
Well, we're great. We're glad to have you on here, man. You're challenging for the cruiserweight title. You're 5-1. Lorenzo's 7-1. You're going to be in your hometown, and we're going to get to that in a little while. But first, right now, I'm looking. I know this for a fact. Beautiful scenery there. You're hanging out. You're in Colorado. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're doing a training camp in Colorado. How long are you there, and why Colorado? Why did you decide that? Is that a normal thing for you?
Yeah, I've kind of incorporated it in my last 2 or 3 camps. And then, so this time we came out, we're going to be up here for 10 days. We'll be back a couple days before the fight. But yeah, we got us a cabin up here. You know, we're sleeping at about 8,000 feet elevation, and then you know, we're getting our work in. So, you know, you just can't beat the cardio work that you can get up here. And you know, it's in a nice, you know, relaxing area.
No, yeah, definitely cardio. I figured that's where you were going with that. But I have to tell you, you know this, you live there. But I've been dealing with a lot of local businesses and talking to the arenas and talking to radio stations in Monroe, and there's legends. There's heroes, which you are, and there's gods. And I know there's only one God, but in Monroe, people treat you like that. Every time I mention your name, people get excited for you. This is a huge fight for you. I wonder, did you leave also? Does that help you a little bit to get away from the craziness of everyone? Hey, Quentin, you're running a business. You're doing 20 things. Is it refreshing to be gone for 10 days in Colorado where no one has really access to you?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's definitely a part of it. You know, we don't have very good phone signal, so we got to FaceTime, you know, pretty much. So we do have Wi-Fi, but yeah, that's what a lot of it comes down to, because, you know, back home, you know, I have so many responsibilities, you know, being a dad, and then, you know, being, you know, working out, doing things at the church, and then just going back and forth, training at the gym, coaching people at my gym, you know, roofing, contracting. So yeah, I stay pretty busy at the house. So, you know, I put in the work when I can, and then, you know, I have a pretty consistent, you know, schedule when I'm back home, but then it just gives you a little break to, you know, break all that from everything. You just relax, you know, and think about what you got to think about, and, you know, get your mind right.
Yeah, it's really important to get your mind right mentally. That's extremely important. But I also look at you fighting at home. I think this is a really cool opportunity for you to make history. It's like the first bare knuckle event in Louisiana in probably over 100 and some years. And on top of that, again, your hometown for a main event, cruiserweight title gold. Is that more pressure for you? Where are you at with that fighting in your hometown? Does it not bother you? Do you feel the need to provide for your hometown people?
Man, it really just gets me excited. You know, I'm to the point in my life and my career to where, you know, win or lose, this is a great opportunity. You know, how many people even get to say that they fought for a world title? You know, so I don't really, you know, I'm not too worried about the result. It's not like I'm going to have trouble sleeping if I didn't win the fight, you know, anything like that. So, you know, the pressure's on him. You know, my identity is built in a lot of different things and a lot more important things than fighting. You know, to me, this is just, you know, just a blessing that I get to do, you know, on the side. So, you know, I'm ready for it. I'm excited. And, you know, just the fact that there's so many people that have really supported me over the years that haven't been able to come to my fights lately because they've been out of town, you know, and now it's easy for them to just pop in, you know. So like you were saying, you know, this fight's huge. It's a bunch of people excited and ready to show up for October 1st at the Fant Ewing, man. I think we're sold out of tables. I mean, I sold all of them before we even opened up. So, you know, it's a lot of buzz about this.
And Quinn, if I can hop in really fast, extremely modest person that you are, there has to be some sort of pleasure, though, some sort of excitement in the back of your mind. Lorenzo Hunt has been talking up a storm. He always is. He's been known as a bully. If you knock this guy out in your hometown, please tell me that there'll be some sort of celebration, some sort of excitement that you will feel for this. Please be real with us.
Yeah, man. I mean, y'all see me in there fighting. I'm raw. You know, when I hit somebody and I get excited, I'll holler right there. You know, so just whatever happens. You know, I mean, I'm not going to like teabag him or anything like that, you know. But you know, yeah, I'll definitely be excited. I'll definitely be crunk about it. You know, it's been a hell of a ride, you know, and it seems like I'm kind of, you know, writing my own Cinderella story, and I'm coming in swinging.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like what the fans may not realize, they might have talked about this fight. It's been talked about for a while. I know here at BKFC, this fight's been in the making for a long time. I feel like over a year ago, Rob and I were on the phone with you one time talking, and you had mentioned that, as Rob said, you feel like he's a bully. So, I mean,
Right.
you're the exact opposite of that. Him being a bully, I don't feel, Rob, like he's chirped as much this fight, Lorenzo. I feel like he's been a little more reserved. Usually he's trying to get in guys' heads and mess with them mentally. Why do you think he hasn't done that to you? Do you think that you're one of the guys that he's not going to affect mentally, kind of thing?
Well, he started off trying to come pretty strong with that, but he could tell that I wasn't really interested in engaging in it. You know, I took the opportunity to make him look stupid a couple times, and then I had better things to do. You know, so, you know, and then what was funny is he was talking about I needed to focus on the fight. I'm like, bro, you're the one looking up memes and stuff. Like, what are you talking about? Tagging me in your post. So, you know, I think he's out there selling wolf tickets, man. He's out there telling everybody how easy it's going to be. And he's hyping himself up, but he's just doing that because he's scared, you know, and a lot of the reason he's had success in the past is because there are people out there that are scared of him. And, you know, when they fight him, they fight scared, and I'm not. And that's something that I think is going to give him his biggest problem.
So why are you different? I mean, I've talked to so many fighters that have fought him, legendary guys like Joe Riggs. We saw him defeat him. Other fighters, too, before that, and they've all made the comment, he will not affect me mentally. And then somehow, some way, it happens. Even if it's like hours before the fight, he's always trying to get into people mentally. I mean, why are you different than the rest? Everyone says it's not going to affect. It hasn't yet. But you seem like strong mentally, but why is that?
Man, I have confidence in what I do. You know, I have confidence in what I see and what the reality of it is. You know, and in reality, the reason that he acts that way is because he's scared. So really, you know, the more that I see it, it just makes me giggle on the inside. You know, it just lets me know that I'm living that much more, you know, free in his head. You know, so he can't keep my name out of his mouth. He's been like that for years, man. You know, anytime somebody would make a post that even had anything to do, had nothing to do with him, just somebody making a post that was like, you know, complimenting me or how my, you know, the best jab at BKFC. Well, every time he'd come on the post and he'd put a picture of himself and talk about how, he's the best BKFC, you know, like he's like a jealous little kid, you know, and that's what I see him as. And that's not somebody I'm going to be scared of, you know? So I fought Chris Lieben, and, you know, there's people like, well, why aren't you going to be scared of him? And, you know, I said, after I fought Chris Lieben, you know, when I was in there fighting him, or before the fight, you know, I was looking at him like the boogeyman. And, you know, when I was in that ring and I was hollering at him and I was telling him, this is what you wanted, you know, he was scared. And then that was when it kind of snapped and I realized I'm the boogeyman. And, you know, the boogeyman ain't scared of nobody.
Interesting take. Now, why mentally he's not affecting you, it seems like, but physically, in the ring, fighting style, everything. Why do you feel that you have the key to defeat Lorenzo Hunt when he's 7-1, only one other guy could? How will you do that? Why do you feel that?
I think I have particular attributes that are a bad matchup for him. You know, you look into, you know, I feel like it's a Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo thing. You know, you got timing versus speed. And I feel like the odds are always going to be in my favor when it comes down to that, you know, when it's about being accurate versus being fast, you know. So I'm very confident in my boxing. I've had, you know, plenty of time to improve. I had a great training camp. I had a pro boxer named Mark Malone come in. You know, he was you can go check him out on my Instagram. The dude's, you know, turning pro as a boxer. You know, he was giving me great looks. He's super athletic, super fast. The dude hits like a truck. You know, so I was just getting so many rounds in with him, you know, on top of sparring, and everything's working, everything's coming together, you know, and you can't stop me when things are perfect. It's not going to happen.
October 1st, your hometown, Monroe, Louisiana. You went to high school there. You played football there. Now you could win a cruiserweight world title there. That's huge. And before we let you go, Rob, I don't know if you've been paying attention. Rob he's not even down the middle on this. We always try to stay down the middle. He's on your side. He posted
all in.
Right.
Well, you can tell.
My boy.
When the podcast is done, my boy and other buddies. When the podcast is done, go back and rewind. You didn't realize you did it. When you asked him the question here in this interview, you were like a kid in the candy store, big smile, you're all happy. Rob, what's going to happen? You tell Quentin with the fight. You tell him what you think's going to happen.
I'm going to be there with a giant sign that says congratulations when he knocks him out in the first round. That's what it's going to go.
Will it be a first round knockout,
right.
Quentin, do you feel?
Oh, the potential's always there. I'm like a cat, man. I like to play with my food before I eat it, so, the first round, it just depends on how much he runs and, where we go, but definitely by number 2, it just depends on how froggy he feels in the first.
All right, there you go. Rob's looking forward to that. He's fought with Lorenzo here on the show. He's told him that. And look, you just pumped Quentin up, man. You might have been one of the difference makers there for the fight.
It's going to be an awesome fight, man. I'm really looking forward. The fans are so excited about this.
Appreciate it, man.
It's going to be incredible.
Man, let me tell you, I was watching a little clip. I put it on Instagram. My cousin was videoing. I watched a little clip of me hitting this pad, and I said, dang, man, is that in fast motion? He was like, no, bro, it's just that quick. I said, ooh, that's scary. That's scary.
He said, ooh. Look, man, I can see you're ready to go. You're shadow boxing. You're rocking back and forth. This is it, man. Listen, I know you have a lot of training to get through. BKFC.com. Like I said, in your hometown, a chance at all the marbles, all the glory. I'm excited to see what you do. I know Rob already has a idea of what you're going to do, it seems like. But more than that, man, wish you luck. I don't like wishing luck in fights. There's no luck in fights. Have a good fight. Let's say that.
Right, yeah. I mean, you can always hope that no one gets hurt. That's always the end result. That's good luck, because sometimes you're just lucky that you didn't get hurt.
That's true.
Good point.
You can have a little luck on there.
Well, I wish you good luck and a great fight, and we're very excited to see it. I know Monroe, Louisiana is too. I've been on the phone nonstop in Monroe, and they're pumped for you, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. I'm out of breath from watching you up there. I mean, good luck with your training and do some cardio, run some hills, right?
It's been a pleasure as always.
Brother.
Thank you, Quentin.
Quentin the Hero Henry, man.
Yes.
There he goes. And he got, as the interview went on, I saw it. He got more and more excited. Did you see he's rocking back?
Oh, yeah, man. Look, dude, he's playing the modest card. You have to. You're fighting the biggest fight of your career. You're in your own hometown. Yep. Everyone's going to be there. It's going to be a sellout crowd. Of course you're going to have that little modest, but look, man, that place is going to go fire. Once they come out and oh, man, that's going to be an exciting card, man.
Ask a question, Rob. Serious question. We have to look at both sides of the coin here. I know you don't want to, but we have to. Lorenzo walks into that town, as he said in Joe Riggs' town when he beat him, he said, I will go from town to teach you people, like I'm the best, basically. That's what he said. He said it a lot more effectively than that. So what happens when Quentin wins, or excuse me, when Lorenzo wins? I mean, is it going to be the direct opposite? Are people just going to file out? Are they going to be upset? Are they going to be let down? Or is it going to be a rocky?
Pigs fly?
But hold on. Pigs fly.
You ever heard that term?
I love that, but I'm going to do a Rocky
But
IV.
if it does and they grow wings.
I got it. I'm going to do a Rocky IV reference for you. I know you like the Rocky IV especially references. Is it going to be do you think this at all, where Lorenzo rides into town and then they end up respecting him and cheering for him? Will that ever happen?
Absolutely not, man. No, Lorenzo Hunt's not looking for that. He already said it. He already said he's not looking for the respect. Exactly. You don't care. I don't care what you think. He's going to go around. His goal is to go around and just beat as many people as possible. He could care less whether he gets fans along the way. He doesn't think anyone respects him. I have a level of respect for him as a fighter.
You have to.
Him personally, again, that's a side comment from the beef that me and him have, if you will. I just don't think I don't think there's no title defense for him, man. It's over. I think it's over. I think it goes longer though. I don't agree on a second round. I'm leaning more towards third or fourth. You know what I mean? That's how I'm seeing the fight end.
I love that. Well, that's great analysis by Rob and
my expert analysis.
I mean, I'm curious. I want to see what happens in this fight because I don't know. I really don't know. I can't commit to that because I don't know. I do know that we have some other stuff we want to talk about. I don't know what this is. I got a
breaking text.
I don't know if we're gonna put it on screen or what. I don't know what's going on. It looks like Joe Rogan and the boys are watching Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. How about that? Look at that. That's a good scene.
Yeah.
Did you see
Now
that?
they're watching us.
I don't know. No. They would turn us off.
Like,
immediately.
damn. When Joe Rogan has to take pointers from Brian and Rob,
No, but you know what he actually said on there? He said BKFC has some great marketing. They're bringing a lot of hot chicks over. You know. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah,
Joe Rogan, thank you for that. We appreciate it. It's not the first time. Recently, we're seeing more of that in the media.
Yeah,
we
man.
said SI.com.
Like,
Joe Rogan.
people in the marketing kind of know what they're doing.
They're pretty good, yeah. Joe Rogan, that's not the first time he's mentioned us. So, I mean, we don't take that lightly. Respect. Thank you, Joe Rogan. Let's talk about recent signees. I have them here, or a signee that we want to bring up here in my notes. Hopefully I have it. Do I have it? I won't say it wrong.
He's shuffling papers.
Because, right before we went on the air, I realized all my notes didn't print out. I'm a note guy. I told DC that last week. I don't like computer. I like to have my notes in front of me. It just helps me because my brain is like ping pong
Dude, I'm
balls.
the same. Like when I research stuff, I research it on a computer. But like when I write things,
I just said they have to write it out.
I write things down. So
I write it and type it.
I always have to have a piece of paper.
By the way, I never took typing. I was supposed to. I kind of cheated through typing class in middle school. I used to sell candy blow pops, and I gave a girl blow pops to do my typing lessons, thinking, who's ever going to need this shit? Well, now I need it, and I can't type. It takes me forever to do this, too, but I still like it better. All right, let's talk about the big signing. This is a big deal. This guy signed, already calling people out. Do you know what I'm talking about? Gabriel, excuse me. Evan, help me here. I can't talk. I'm tongue-tied. Gabriel
Fryer.
So Gabe, that's Gabriel. I didn't realize that was him until I saw him. Okay, I know Gabriel Frye. Yeah, he's the guy. So he's been competed. I'm sorry, Gabriel. I didn't realize it was you. I believe he has on his chest here. He goes by the nickname Warrior of God. Gabriel.
I was wondering what the background was, man. This kind of looks like
it's supposed to be like God. Probably
like a rest in peace. Like
he's a friar.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Friar. Come on. Warrior of God. So what I want to talk about with Gabriel, though, this is big. I mean, this is similar to fighters we've brought in the past. We're excited to see Gabriel Fryer here.
Was he from Florida?
He's from Florida.
Dude, so Florida produces like some badass fucking bare knuckle fighters. Excuse my language.
Do they? That's what we're going to find out. And with all due respect to Gabriel, I believe he's 2-0. I used to call the company regionally. It's a smaller company he's with. He's 2-0. It's not, well, you can't call him as regional anymore. But my point is, look, it's no lie. I have nothing but respect for every bare knuckle fighter, but BKFC's level of competition is the most elite, is the highest. Am I wrong?
We ain't calling y'all amateur league, but we're calling y'all amateur league with us. Step up your game, buy some more lights.
Oh, man, Rob's shooting. I'm just saying that
I ain't never going to go to Florida. They're going to whoop my ass when we go down there.
It is true that, all bare knuckle fighters, much respect to them, but come on, I think that we have the most elite fighters out there. So now
you're tested when you come into the big leagues, man.
So now Gabriel comes in. He's going to be tested against some of the most elite fighters.
Tell me some stats. What we got on this guy?
He's 2-0. He's a main eventer over there. I believe he's supposed to do a main event recently with them. Now he came in, called out Bobby Taylor, from what I understand, immediately. Now let's think about this. This is his proving ground, I believe, his first fight. Now, if he ends up fighting Bobby Taylor, whenever he does, and he can beat Bobby Taylor, if he can, I don't know. We'll see.
Bobby Taylor's legit, man.
Yeah, that's
not
what I mean.
Like a no-name guy.
He's calling him out immediately. That's what I mean. He's very, very secure in his ability. You can tell by calling Bobby Taylor out.
I got respect for this man.
Me too. Sorry, it's my allergies. I apologize. Within reach of a title fight, if he beats Bobby Taylor, in my estimation, that puts him within reach of a title fight. But if he loses to Bobby Taylor, if that fight's made, then he might have to go back to the drawing board. Again, that's an elite guy who he thinks he can compete with. We're going to see if that fight happens or whoever he fights.
I mean, that's a good test, man.
It's a great
you come in with someone a seasoned background like that. That's not a layup, man. That's legit.
But the good thing about that is, if he comes in, whether that's a fight down the line or whatever it is, if he comes in and he wins, it's good for him and he proves his worth. We've seen other people like Jomi come in, and he won on his first fight. So now we pay a little more attention because now you're with the big boys, where the big boys play, and now you're providing. And that's we need a proving ground for them. That breeds them, and then we bring them to the big show and see if they can do it. And I think that with that loss, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I'm getting way ahead of it here. But if he does lose, that's not necessarily a bad thing, like I was getting to before. Then he just realizes, okay, take a breath. What worked other places may not work here because it's a little different. And let's go back to the drawing board and figure out, kind of scrape my knee, or at this point, scrape your face, and then kind of revisit what it is that I can change in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And from what I've seen of Gabriel, and I've seen some of his stuff, he is a guy that's smart enough to do that if he loses. But we're glad to have him here, Gabriel. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Welcome
congratulations,
to the team,
man.
It's a great signing for us, I hope, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's ready. He's here to prove himself. He's confident. Asking for Bobby Taylor. Confidence. We'll see what Bobby Taylor thinks about that if that fight happens. Other than that, through my copious notes here, look at that.
That's my favorite note right there.
Note. Yeah. Here, I should say this. Hold on. This is what I am. That's what this note should say when I print things out like that. Clown. All right,
Not
so
at all, brother.
I'm
You're
going
awesome.
to start doing this when I'm done with my notes. Just like they do on like TV shows like Jay Leno or whatever. Well, Jay Leno.
Well, at least you don't have those cue cards. What was that guy that freaked the hell out? Bill O'Reilly.
Do it for us, Rob.
What do you mean, sign us out or play us out? Play us out.
We'll do it live. You haven't seen me. I act like that sometimes off the air. Well, right, we'll do it live.
Do it. Do it live. And
before-
that's it for today for the BKFC show. I'm Brian. This is Rob.
And we're out. We have no jobs anymore.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, I want to remind you, BKFC 30 again coming up Monroe, Louisiana, October 1st. BKFC 31, our debut in Denver, Colorado. That's going to be awesome. A debut in Colorado. So that'll be huge for us. We're excited about that fight. That's coming up as well, October 15th. And we have some great fights in that card, too. I mean, Marine Mike Richmond, main event.
Yeah, next couple of weeks. Can we talk
Isaac
about
Dulo.
some of the guests that we have potentially scheduled kind of on the Felice?
Oh, we do. Well, that'll be good. That'll be good. Talk to her. I'd like to talk to her.
Yeah, Mike Richmond.
Mike Richmond will be great.
Trying to get Alexander Houston.
Ooh.
So this is
Houston Alexander.
Houston
You're a little
Alexander. I'm sorry.
I know, I'm
Yeah.
dyslexic.
So
too, I think.
I wanted to talk about his age, right? So we talked about BKFC, and people are extremely critical on the fighters and their age and them getting into competitive sports, combat sports in general. And one of the things that everyone talked about a few years ago, my hero, the world's hero, Tom Brady, being the position he was at the time. You know, his stats were going down a little low.
The world's hero.
Yeah, so he wins the Super Bowl, comes to Tampa Bay, right? Comes to Tampa Bay, wins the Super Bowl his first year, and now all of a sudden age isn't a factor. He's now 45, right? 45. I mean, is age a factor anymore?
Well, we'll see. I mean, it wasn't for Tom Brady, and we've seen Houston Alexander compete in the past, and it doesn't look like it's a factor. He looks young. He acts young. I think youth is how you...
It's undefeated, too. BKFC.
Yeah, exactly. But I think youth is also how you carry yourself, how you think, and he does that, but he has a responsible youth to him. You know, he's not out there partying and stuff. He knows how to handle it. I do know that I believe the Houston Alexander thing, I don't know if that fight's fully signed yet, but I know he is supposedly fighting in, that's Omaha. This is right now Denver, as you can see.
Yo, is that Liver King? We got Liver King fighting?
So this
What's
is...
up, Primals?
Yeah, here, we're talking...
That's awesome, man.
We're talking Denver now. You see Brandon Gertz there versus Jake Lindsay. Jake Lindsay 2-0 undefeated. Excited to see what Gertz can do. I believe he had some Bellator experience from what I was looking at, and a pro MMA record of 6-10. But again, a Bellator guy coming in, taking the gloves off. I dig that. When you go to back to the... We're scrolling.
We went so fast.
You're
There's
making
no
me
way.
dizzy, whoever's scrolling that. Slow it down.
That's my fight, the two
Lord.
shadow guys. I got my money
man.
on those dudes.
Well, look, let's start at the top here. Slow down. Mike Richmond, we talked about him versus Isaac Doolittle. Richmond, the Marine, Doolittle, the Honey Badger, and both guys, interestingly enough, undefeated, which that's always intriguing
Somebody's
to me.
L's
Somebody's
going
going to
down.
get the L. Somebody's going home with an L, and somebody's going home with a title. So that's for the light heavyweight title. Interim, I guess we'd call it. I'm excited to see that. Again, we talked about Jake Lindsay. And then if you look a little further down the card, this is way all the way at the bottom to go down and see this one because I want to spotlight this. She's making her return. She's been here a while. She's a very popular fighter. At least I think it's on here. It should be at the very bottom. Crystal Pittman making a return against Courtney Cameron. And I love how Courtney Cameron spells her name.
Yeah,
And
man.
she's got an interesting look to her as well.
She does,
She's a very
dude.
interesting look.
Listen,
this-
the reason it's like that,
I know.
if we don't have a picture, that's what you get.
I know. I'm busting chops.
I'm letting everybody else know.
Yeah. So
So send in your photos, man. If you assign professional, send in
Yeah,
some real
send your-
photos.
send
Go
your
to
pictures.
Sears, get the $50
Sears.
package. You know, get the
Sears.
$50 package, get the headshots, or pull out the
Lord in
iPhone
heaven.
7 or above, and you'll be
Yeah,
good.
Do something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Shoot us a goddamn photo.
To piggyback on what Evan and Rob are saying, a little more professionally, you're right. We don't have those photos, and we're working to get them as soon as possible.
Get them on Fight Week.
Yeah, we'll get them. That's the thing. People got to understand that, and I feel like
we actually do have her picture.
I feel like fans don't understand that. Lord,
Oh man,
make a call, Evan.
now you could definitely
the website.
You could definitely roast us now.
So
roast us. We deserve
but people
it.
have to understand this, that we have so many new fighters that we're using. We're such a growing organization. Sometimes we don't have their stuff on file, and then we have to get it, and that takes a while. But you know what? I'd rather have a silhouette of someone new coming into fight, and we can kind of then see how that person does. Now, there it is.
There you go.
There you go. Courtney Cameron. I love how she spells her name. Khortni Cameron.
It's like the mnemonic spelling.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Courtney Cameron. She's debuting for
Even
us.
Courtney's spelled unique.
I just spelled it out loud. Didn't you hear me?
And Cameron.
Rob,
The
I have a
whole
question for
thing.
you, Rob. Are you here some days?
Dude, I'm gonna pay money for both of them to beat you and Evan up.
Can we get along? Can we get? I love Rob. But can we get?
If you see Brian and if you see Evan in Colorado,
He just talks, Evan. He just talks.
get him.
Can't we? Can't
Bring
we?
the tomatoes.
All right,
Someone
all right.
bring in like a gallon of tomatoes, man.
What's up with the tomatoes? Because
Yeah.
we missed. Did you guys talk about that last week?
No,
No, when I
think
saw
I
that, I was like, not again. I
It
said,
looks
not
like-
again.
Well, look, I was right there when it happened, and it looks like he thought about doing it, and then at the last second didn't want to because he kind of like turned and hit his shoulder with it.
I
He
think
didn't go for the.
no,
I think
no.
he didn't want to do it at the
so
last second.
no. Here's what I
got
heard.
the scoop,
Here's what I
buddy?
heard. Yeah, I'm all, dude. I have one ear. I'm deaf in the one ear. I got one ear, but it's always listening. It's
Nah,
trying
I
to
don't
learn.
listen out of either
I
one
try
of
to
them.
hear everything, right?
Yeah.
And I overheard something about that where. He wanted to play off the Lorenzo incident, of course, and he wasn't going to do anything. He was going to like hold it up like and then kind of going for the bro hug. Well, Joe, I guess I don't know if he told Joe about that or he didn't know. I think he might have told Joe, but it just seemed like it was kind of like Evan said, kind of delivered strange. And if you look at that, man, Joe almost fell off the stage. I had to like push him back.
I
And
think
then-
a lot of people would.
Well, the other thing is, Joe, if you look at that, because I was with Lido, and Lido's like, look, Joe's got complete control of him because he had him in double arm. I don't know what they call it, like double arm. We could just kneed him in the face.
Yeah.
Joe could have toyed with him, but Joe didn't do that. Joe just backed up, and I was up there just like, you got to be kidding me. Joe was upset. I do know that after the fight, especially after the headbutt, I mean, that was terrible for both guys who worked so hard. But I do know that
Fortunate.
he was there. Josh D-Day-Dyer was there at Joe's after party, and I saw them chatting it up. Everything's all well and good with them now, unless there's a rematch.
Dude,
Who knows what's gonna
Josh
happen?
Dwyer, I don't think he knows it or not, but he just opened up a can of tomatoes, no pun intended. Now every face-off,
right
the
that
fighter's going to come out with a tomato, and you never know what's going to happen, man. I'm like, when I saw him walk out, I'm like, man, not again. Not another tomato.
We need that. We need a token tomato carrier now. Like that always comes out. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but we're excited about Denver, Colorado, and like I said, Crystal Pittman.
That fast, the website was updated.
Oh, really?
Bam!
Whoa, web team, hold on. I gotta do it. That's a standing O. That's insane. Good job. Wow, we have a crack web team. That's amazing. All right, so that's a fight that excites me because, like I said earlier, I always like seeing when people that have been here a while return. And the reason Crystal Pittman excites me, and we'll unpack more of these fights and get to them as the weeks go. I want to focus on Louisiana, but I wanted to spotlight Crystal Pittman because I've never seen
rugged beauty.
Yeah, I've never seen Courtney fight. I've seen Crystal fight. I've seen Crystal's passion. Win, lose, draw. Crystal is a passionate fighter,
man.
a passionate person. She loves it. I mean, she gets her face busted up. She gets beat up. And
Ain't
then
no quitting her.
it doesn't matter, though. Afterwards, I'm like, how do you feel? She's like, great. She's amazing.
She's a warrior, man.
It was the same as
Always enjoyable to
Sharice
watch her
Sagala
fight.
was the same way. Her face was swollen, a little bit of salary. She's like, I feel great. I mean, it was good. They enjoy fighting so much and have so much passion for it. And you see that on Crystal. And I think that speaks volumes because she keeps coming back to fight bare knuckle, and not everyone does that. So I want to spotlight her against the debuter. We'll see how that goes for Crystal. I'm looking forward to that.
That's a prelim fight.
That's what I was going to say.
Wow.
That's a prelim. And some of these people, not Crystal, that's not what I'm saying this, but I've heard fighters be like, I'm fighting on the prelims. And look, here's the thing. If you're fighting on the prelims, that's a gift because more people see you. It's free to the entire world. That could happen upon you.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
a great place to be because now it's up to you to kind of brand yourself and expose yourself. Well, not like Ty Emery did, but expose yourself to the people
like what you
and
did
show
there.
them. That kind of came to me. Expose yourself to the people, whether it's a cool walkout,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a great knockout, a great fight, whatever it is, have people remember you because your job is not only to fight, but this is to sell people to buy the app. And that's a very important place that the company places you in to help us sell that app and get people
Not
over
even
there.
that, man. Go out there, and if you do your job right, and you put on a, I think Dave says it best. Just put on a good fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Show heart.
Just be the best person that you can be, and then that's it, and you'll win over the fans. And the prelims, I can speak to the channel, just from what I saw, it gets hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions of views. And I know a lot of the fighters have kind of piggybacked off that as well, and their social media channels have just gone up exponentially as well.
See it time and time again,
if
every
you're
show.
looking, if you're looking for growth, man, whether it's on the main card or the prelims, you'll be fine. Just bring out the best version of yourself, and everything else will settle.
I agree 1,000% with that, Rob. That's so true, and we'll see where it goes from there. But again, that's a great opportunity for her, and we're excited to see her back again. So much other stuff coming up. We're going to get to all that, but first, in front of us right now, BKFC 30 in Monroe. Hometown boy, I say it again, challenging for the title. BKFC.com, October 1st, that's coming up. You can get in on that. And I do believe, before we get out of here, Evan, I would speak to you about this. You would know best. When the most recent tryouts from, it was Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville, excuse me?
Yeah.
Did they just go up on the app recently?
No, Colorado went
It was
up.
Colorado.
Yeah,
There's so many of them now. Okay.
Jacksonville's getting edited right
Okay,
now.
Colorado's up. So were you editing the Colorado stuff? Did you shoot
That
that?
was one of my minions.
Oh, I'm sure they'll love to hear that.
Yeah. So just as a disclaimer, everybody out there in BKFC app world and BKFC world in general, all content goes to the BKFC app.
Yeah.
Only a fraction of content goes on Facebook, Instagram, social media channels in general. If you want all the behind the scenes access, all the exclusive content, all the fun fights, and me and Brian talking for over an hour a week.
Don't do that.
Oh my days. What a package for only $4.99 a month.
Shit.
Oh, what a
They're
shill.
canceling. I can hear them. I can hear the cancellations coming in. No, seriously.
Crazy Larry, and I got crazy sales.
Murray's wigs. Buy from Murray. Buy your wigs from Murray. Hey, listen,
They
guys.
never come off.
Yeah, they never come off. Listen, thank you. Thank you for the fans that you are. Thank you for the people that you are. Thank you for tuning in. We're excited to bring you great fights. We got a lot of them coming up. BKFC.com. Grab that app. And until next week, Rob, we say cheers. Knuckle up.
Like, comment, subscribe.
When I touch him, he will see that I'm the champ for a reason. It's not a mistake.
Quentin, the hero Henry.
I want Lorenzo Hunt, whether it's for a title or not. I'm tired of him running his mouth.
Down goes Joe Riggs. No controversy there.
It's just a matter of time before he catches a little alpha and omega.
I'm taking this show.